Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of my manager mode for PSG for FIFA 14. I just really wanted to apologize about last episode because my Elgato shut off at the end, so it didn't get the final score or any of the highlights at the end. What ended up happening is they did score in the 85th minute, and we had to go into overtime, and they also scored in the 120th minute. So unfortunately, we lost our first competitive match, but moving on, that was just a cup match. So we move on to our first league match here, and I just looked around at the team a little bit, and I'm just going to keep the same team for right now. They did pretty well last game, other than some minor flaws, but that was just my defending. So I'm just going to show only the highlights and the goals. Right there, they decide to just do a low cross and right into their guy. So moving on, I go ahead and cut in to the middle there and do a nice little finesse with Royce. And there we go, 1-1 just like that. And Royce is a very good player in this game. I've always liked using him in 13 and 14 as well. Ben Arfa right there with a beautiful skill move. That was the McGeady spin, I believe. And that's why I love having a lefty on the right wing, because you can just do the finesses and just shoot such a powerful shot right there. And this is another example right there. I love having lefties for the right wing. It didn't score, but it got me a corner, which unfortunately nothing came from it. So we go ahead and move on to halftime. It is 2-1, and I definitely controlled this game with 4 shots, 4 on target. They only had 1. So I felt this was going to be a goal, but they managed to block that. So I go ahead and make some substitutions here. I just wanted to get some of my bench so they don't get too unhappy with me. So I go ahead and put Lavezzi in, and I also put Cavani in. So I realized that I need to get another center mid, because right now I have 3 CDMs and Nasri in my team, and I felt that was going to score, and I would have been highly upset because my defending just isn't too great in this game yet. But Ben Arfa shows another great skill move right there, but unfortunately cannot close the deal with it. So the referee gives them a foul right there, which is I agree that probably was a foul. So they go ahead and cross it, and they call that a penalty. I definitely don't think that should have been a penalty at all, because I had no control over that. I think the keeper just hit him, but thankfully I managed to save it. And my strategy with penalty kicks and blocking them, just watch the foot very carefully, and probably 50% of the time, or maybe even 75% of the time, I usually block them if you watch the foot very carefully, because you can watch exactly where they're going to hit it, and it's a really good tactic in my eyes. So I didn't realize that the transfer window is still open, so I go ahead and look for another CM. I wasn't quite sure who I wanted to do, because if you just search for center mid this year, it's not going to show the top players or anything like that. It's not going to sort them like that because they don't know the players' ratings. And I got another offer from a Tweety there. I just I'm going to need a little bit more if I want to get rid of him, and I feel he's going to be really good CDM in a couple of years. So I look in what my scouts have found so far, and they actually haven't found anything yet for central mids, which is kind of disappointing. But I look around, I go for the BBVA to see if I can find anything from what they list, because I know they don't show the ratings or their potential or anything like that. So I just look around, see what kind of center mids I can find off the list that they give me. I put about a max of 26, so we just look around at what they show, and I'm not really sure what I'm looking for. I wanted more of a standard CM, not really a holding CDM or anything like that. And I just wanted someone really well balanced. I know this guy's pretty good, and I do come across Isco, which I was very interested in, But then I remember that he was just recently transferred to Real Madrid, and they wouldn't get rid of him because he's very young and he's actually a very good player in this game. So, and then I saw at the bottom there he just recently arrived. So, moving on, I just keep on going down the list, see if I can find any names that I recognize, stuff like that. Stuff that, people that I know that are good and that are gonna perform very well in this team. Next episode, I should probably look for some better defenders to really get a better defense, because I've noticed in my past couple of games that my outside backs are kind of sluggish. And right here, I do search for Santi Cazorla because he's a very good player in this game as well. And I didn't realize he was worth as much as what they're asking for. I thought he was one of the lower rated CAMs in the league, but I definitely wanted him because he's a great shot and he has a little bit of pace to him. And I think he would have matched up really well with Nazareth on the other side. So they say right there they want between 27 and 32 million. So I go ahead and put in an offer of 26, I believe, and I see what they think about that. I go ahead and simulate a couple days until they respond to my offer. And for this, I do have 2 games in this episode, and I'll probably keep it around what I've done, 2 episodes during the transfer window, just because it's longer for this. And they do want more for him. They put 32 million for him, and I offer 29 million. And yeah, like I said, whenever the transfer window closes, I might do 3 games, because after I trim down all the games, each game is usually about 3 or 4 minutes long after I just put in the highlights, around that. And this right here, what I'm showing you, all the games or all the days that I'm simulating, that takes a little while. So I do about 2 while the transfer window is open and 3 games while it's closed. So I just look to make sure all the fitness is fine, and it is. So I don't really want to change too much right now. I just want to keep the team the way it is, because I feel like the team's performing well, but I'm not necessarily performing well. So I don't trim this right here because a goal is going to come off this. Sorry, spoiler alert. But yeah, this was very poor defending on my part. It's just frustrating giving up these goals right off the bat, because first of all, I feel that Sirigu should have defended that, or at least blocked it, or one of my defenders should have got to it. But oh well. Moving on. Royce right here gets a nice little chance and pass it to Ibra. I thought he was off, but unfortunately he wasn't. And then I pass it to Royce back, and he just goes wide. I'm not sure how he missed that, because he has a very good shot in this game, and I could have swore that he was going to make that. But anyhow, going over top to Ben Arfa, he does overshoot him a little bit, and that was kind of frustrating because he had passed his defender right there, and he was making a very good run. And somehow this right here is a yellow on my right back. I have no idea how that's a foul on me, but I think he got a yellow card last game as well, so I might need to sit him next game just to give him a break. And there we go. That's the second goal for him right there. I know I suck, but that's off a header, and that's pretty irritating because scoring or conceding goals off headers are so irritating in this game. And whenever I score them, I don't really feel excited or feel pumped about scoring that, because it's just a cross. It really took no skill. It wasn't a good goal or anything. And yeah, my left back had a really good shot right there that goes for a corner, but unfortunately nothing comes from that as well. So we go into halftime 2-0, and I'm thinking to myself, I really need to pick this up. I need to start playing better, and I need to get things going here. So I come into this game to second half. I'm trying to get a good goal here, and Royce with another fantastic finesse shot. He's looking to be a very good transfer that I have so far, and I do end up putting in 3 substitutes, but that's all that happened in that game. So I went ahead and got rid of the rest of that game because there was really no other highlights. I did switch to ultra attacking, but there was no other shots in that game. So Santi Cazorla finally gets accepted, and I realized that I don't have enough wage budget for him. So I go ahead and adjust it a little bit, and then I go back into my messages just to see if actually I went to my short list to see if I could do it from there, but I don't know why it didn't let me. So I go ahead and go back in my messages and I accept him. Welcome to the team. So now it's gonna be him, Nasri, and I'll move Matuidi down to CDM, and that'll be my 3 midfielders. Those will be my starters. I still have the scouts out for the youth squad. I'll see what they come back with, and I really want to get them into my bench so I can start playing them about 45 minutes a game, around there. That way I can start getting the good prospects and building them up to be very good players. I said at the beginning of this series that was my favorite thing to do. I love scouting players and doing that. So we go ahead and accept Cazorla. Welcome to the team. And we are running low on budgets, so that will probably be about all we can afford for this transfer window. So far, I would say my favorite player has been Royce, and my least favorite player, I'd have to say probably Sirigu. He hasn't played very well. He hasn't blocked the goals that he should be blocking, and that's pretty disappointing because I did have a high offer for him at the beginning of the series, but I thought I wanted to keep him. But I mean, I've only played 3 competitive games with him so far, so this episode's coming up to a close. Right there, he says he wants to play, but he's injured. So I have no idea what EA's thinking whenever they do that. But yeah, he is injured. I have 2 outside backs injured right now, which is pretty frustrating. So this is me just moving my team around. Moda hasn't played well at all. I'm not a very big fan of him. Yeah, I just go ahead and put Matuidi at the holding mid spot, and then I'll put Santi Cazorla and Nasri in the 2 midfield spots. And I keep Inarfa, Royce, and Ibra up there. They played very well. I did put Cavani in last game, but you didn't see that. He actually played very well. I might need to give him a couple games, even though with League 1 matches, there is actually a pretty big gap in between games, which I like. That way you can get the fitness back up, and you have to play games back to back. But this is the end of episode number 3. I should have episode number 4 out before too long. Thanks for watching, guys.